So you made a couple points that I was going to ask questions on. You kind of touched upon them, but how important is getting on site? Because I've got good I-9 calls for juicy companies, but they're in Hawaii, and I'm debating. And I didn't do it. I said maybe just get someone local. You don't have much time. Someone needs to go there and see what's going on. How much of a is it strongly preferred, or is it almost like mandatory? It's better to go on site.
I mean, I would have said until 2 years ago it was mandatory.
Hmm.
But we've learned to cope during COVID.
Yeah.
Uh, I still think it's being on site is better, even just for the training aspect, because
Yeah.
that's a lot. I mean, they've already made their mistakes. We're
Hmm.
going to try to correct them, but they've made them. What they need to know is how do you not make those mistakes in the future. And so I've done the training through Zoom, and it's lasted an hour and a half. Very few questions when I
Hmm.
do training through Zoom. 2 weeks ago, I was pretty excited. It was my first business trip since COVID. Went down to Northeast Mississippi, and strictly for training. They've had an ICE I-9 audit. They didn't hire me. They're still waiting for the results, but they think they've got some issues. They had a lot of questions, and they had three related companies. But I spent 7 hours talking I-9 compliance, three different locations, um, and tons of questions. And as I was leaving, it occurred to me it's because you were live and you weren't on Zoom. So when I got back here, I've been trying to plan some training for some Mexican restaurants in North Carolina. One has been audited, the rest, maybe because they're all interrelated. And I pushed really hard. We got to do this in person,
Yeah.
uh, because I'd done the first Mexican restaurant. I'd done the training Zoom, and again, no questions. Okay, yeah, got it. And even though 2 days later they come back and I said, well, I covered that in the training. Oh, well, we didn't understand it at the time. I was like, well, but you didn't say that. So, and just looking at the I-9s in person, one, you can't tell unless whether they're a copy or an original. Now these days, with ICE allowing you to send it in by email, they don't know if it's a copy or an original. So I guess you got an advantage there. But it used to be that, and I think it will go back to, you
Yeah.
had to give them the original I-9s, and if it's a copy, they don't consider that to be a valid I-9. But you're not going to know that if you're
Hmm.
getting those, if they're scanning your scan, you're not going to be able to get the client to look at everyone going, yeah, I think that's a copy. They just look at it and say, I got one. So yeah, heading out to Hawaii, that's tough.
Yeah.
I mean, tough in one way, not nice in another. But given the ramifications of how quickly you have to do it, I mean, one of my cases down in Georgia, it was a restaurant that was a chain. It was a franchise, and I talked to their regular corporate attorney the night before, back and forth, and by the end of the evening, yeah, he doesn't want to hire you. He thinks he can do it himself. Okay, that's fine. So I come to work the next day. I didn't pack a bag, didn't try to I get a call like at 10:30 in the morning. Hey, you know what? He's changed his mind. It's like, well, okay. So, we're only about 4 hours from Atlanta. So it was, quite frankly, just easier to get in the car and drive. But
Yeah.
that meant driving home, packing a bag, driving down there. And, it was a good thing I did, because they were a mess. And, I was there the next day from 9 a.m. until 1 a.m. the following morning, going through I-9s, so that we could get them to ICE later that morning. Because again, Atlanta is one of them that doesn't give you an extension. So that's the type of thing that you have to immediately make plans. I've been to one in Savannah. I just hopped on a plane. I've hopped on planes many times right away, to Chicago. I've got the Chicago case. So other times I'm within driving distance. I get a lot of clients in Tennessee. and in Georgia, and most of those are drivable cases. But post COVID, I'm going to be pushing again for in person. Now,
Yeah,
if you got a client that's only got 15 employees, they may just not be willing to pay your travel expenses.
yeah,
Because they can look at their potential liability and go, okay, I don't know that I want to pick up, for your plane fare to, I don't know how much it is from LA to Hawaii, but they may throw a
yeah.
little upset about that and their hotel bill at the nice beachside hotel.